Alright, we're going to try this again. I'm saying again because I've already tried to do this video once and it just didn't work, because I'll explain in a second why. But anyway, we'll just introduce what the video is actually about. But it's actually just continuing on from the previous video where I said I was going to make a 555 timer. So here's an actual 555 timer thing, and it's just stopped working. Oh, right, that's not a very stable connection. There we go. And it's just in standard astable mode, which I got from this handy book here, the ICC Projects IC 555. I said ICC. IC 555 Projects book by the famous E.A. Parr. And I'm just using the very basic circuit, which I think is on this page here. It's upside down, but this one here, the standard circuit here. Normally I use this one because it just has one resistor and one thing. That's the equal spacing astable one, which is usually all I need. But I'm doing it the full standard version just to see that the final one will actually work. So the idea is I'm going to move these wires across. It made sense at the time to put these wires like this, and then I was going to shift those around onto this board, but that's not really going to work. We'll just have to work it out when we're finished to test it. To see if it works. And what did I just drop on the ground? Oh no, not that thing. Alright. Anyway, back to this. So, last time we did some stuff with a 4001, which I used to make the RS flip-flop part, and I didn't actually give a diagram as to what I was doing that for, but here is a diagram. I'm going to unplug this for a second. And that's what I was trying to make. We're not going to pay attention to the reset for today. We're just going to go for this set and reset part. And over here we've got two voltage comparators, which are linked up to the trigger and threshold pins, and a bunch of resistors here, which I believe are in the actual 555 are around 5k resistors, and that's one theory as to why it's called a 555 timer. And this is just making a voltage divider. So this is 2/3 the input voltage, and it's 1/3, and that's ground on the bottom. We have to have a resistor, a transistor over here, which is being pulled to ground by this. Only one little tricky thing. That's a knotted output coming there. So maybe I should. I don't know. Well, we'll go through what I've got in order to try and make this. And this is an inverter stage. So we're going to need to make this thing. Well, we've kind of got this part already done. That was from the previous video. And now we need two voltage comparators, and we need some inverting over here and some inverting perhaps here. I'm not going to try, and I haven't actually bothered to try and completely understand it yet, which is terrible. But I was hoping I'd just pick it up as I go and I do this thing. And it's like very similar to the previous project I did with an LM324 with a little bar graph that went up and down. And in fact, we're going to be using an LM324, which is over here. So in the previous video that I'm not going to publish because it didn't really work. Maybe there's a whole bunch of videos. This is going to go on the C side, the bloopers playlist at some point. But I used it here, and I thought in the last video I was like, well, I couldn't actually find a book. Well, I was a bit lazy and hadn't stood up to find. I forgot to get a little printout of the LM324's pinout, and so I thought, well, I have this book handy, which is our favourite, the Integrated Circuits Hobbyist Handbook, and I'm pretty sure that the 3303 quad low power operational amplifier has the same same layout as an LM324. Which it does, and I went through and made this little circuit so it's a voltage comparator thing, and there's a little potentiometer, and when you twist it the light goes on and off, and that was to show that it worked. And I set it all up, and it didn't work when I tried it, and I was like, what? And things sort of went a bit strange, and it turned out that I had this thing on the wrong side. So I've been using these little, instead of using one like this, and I'm not too sure why I'm not just using these ones. Well, I could just go back to using that one. Let's just go back. We're not taking up any more space. But this one's slightly, I like these because they're slightly clearer where the plus and the minus goes. And so that was actually wired up correctly. Whereas the last one, you can't really see it because it's just not very clear. I guess there's that little white, the marked off square there should give it away. That's the ground pin. So next time I should pay attention to that. But I had it the wrong way around, and the IC got hot and everything got hot. But in the end of the day, it actually still worked after I corrected everything. So that was quite nice. But well, at least I've tested this now. So we've got the LM324 for this. Sorry for my cough. And I've got a 4049 as an inverter, and I'm sure we can dig up a transistor when we need to for the last part. So I'm not tired. Alright, so these the orange and the blue from when I was trying to do this video beforehand are actually the inputs into the flip-floppy thing, the latch or whatever you're going to call it. And so I don't know which is which. I'm going to try and do this without thinking too much about what I'm actually doing. But we do need to first off make. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. If I should just try and stuff it all on this little board here. So we don't need that, and we don't need that, and we don't need this, and we don't need this. I was going to use the 4049 as a little buffer as well, just so that we can test what's happening at each stage without loading down the circuit. So those are so now it's got the power applied. We better quickly stuff on our 4049 in the right place while we're at it. We'll put that kind of close to the end. I just don't think there's going to be enough room. Well, I couldn't move that one along to there, I guess. Not really laying it out the best. Hold on, I'm just going to bring up. Oh, it doesn't have it in the book. That's just great, isn't it? Oh, you have to be kidding! I swear that it was going to have this. I wish I could remember. No, you've got to be kidding. This video is never going to get made. Well, I can just guess that the 4049 is wired up kind of the same as the NAND gate. I put it on the wrong way, haven't I? Alright, that can go around that way. So let's just get these things. It's going to be the bane of this channel, is me wiring them up the wrong way every single time. This is in fact why I've got a little bit disgruntled at making videos on this channel, is because I had a really cool IC and I wired it up the wrong way, and I don't know if it actually still works. But we're going to come back to that at some point. But it's okay because I have some other ones which are very similar. So, but I'm a bit annoyed because I broke a very hard to find IC. So that one's got to go there. We're going to use white wires all the way through for no reason, because that's just what's sitting right in front of me. So that one's not going to fit. Okay, we'll use a different color. I've only got like really short ones and really, I'm going to move that out of the way, really long ones. And where's the other little packet of these? They've got like 3 packets and they've all got long wires in them. Alright, it's about time I started cutting these things up. Well, that's the nice thing about these. When you get these long ones, you don't really need anywhere near that many long ones. So you can just cut them up and use them as shorter ones. Except, oh wait, it's over here. We might actually do that. I'm going to do that right this second. I'm going to take some red ones and cut them up. About there. And about there. And then move that across a bit. It doesn't have to be that long. Well, I knew that was going to happen. Oh no, that's right. That's all good. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Ah, there we go. There's another. Still, that one's way too long. What was I thinking? All right, we'll try this one. So how are these videos ever going to work if I'm spending half my time not having a clue how to wire up a 4049? Even though I've done so many videos on it, you think I'd know it off by heart by now, but I don't. Alright, well we will. I'm just going to finish doing this because I've got obsessed with doing this now. They always, the little wires always, the little shielding always messes. Well, that one's terrible. Who cares? That one doesn't matter. Right, so we've got some extra wires that are actually the same length as the ones I've already got. That's wired up, that's wired up. Let's do this. So, first off, we need to have a little voltage divider, and I'm not going to use 5Ks because I don't have any 5Ks right here, except maybe I do. hold on. I was going to just use 10Ks. Well, there we go. There's some 5Ks. They're right on the page that I opened up on. Well, they're not 5Ks. They're 5.1, but that's the best we're going to get. So we're going to kind of be semi... Oh, I took them all out, didn't I? That was a bad move. Alright, we just need 3 of those. I better put them back in, otherwise I will lose them. Alright, so there's my 3... this is my voltage divider, and I'm going to move that just over to there. So that can just sit there. I don't think I need anywhere near as much as I've got there. Oh, it'll be fine. Alright, so that one's going to go to ground, and then it's going to go to there, and then from is that the best way of doing this? I don't think this is the best way of doing this. Right, that one can go to there, and then that one can go across to there. Not the tidiest. Should be trimming the legs. So what have we got? We've got 3, and then the last one is going to go to the positive voltage, the high voltage. So where's my little... Oh, what have I done with it? Oh, it's right underneath everything. Okay, that took like a long time. Alright, this is just in case I need it. So we now have this part done. So that was easy. Alright, so the next step, and I'm probably... Oh, should I? No, I'm going to. I just don't have the patience. So we're just going to use these terrible wires instead of doing it in a nice and neat way. Alright, so the first one, actually, what we will do with the other one, well actually we'll use this thing here. There's another one right here. Will this even attach? No, it won't. They're the wrong size. Why would they do that? Okay, so this is going to be my threshold and trigger inputs. So I probably should match them up with the colors that are on here. So that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that. Let's get out a picture of what the pins are. Where's an accurate labeling? Alright, well there's a picture of what they all are. So I'm just going to use that. So what have I labeled trigger as? Trigger is pin wire number 2. So in that case it's blue. So the trigger is the blue wire. So I'm just going to go straight from here. And so trigger has to go as the inverting input. This is going to take backwards and forwards, flipping and hopping around. And tools and everything on the desk. Hold on. I put all these hooks on the doors and stuff so that I can put them away. So this should actually be really easy to remember, but I can't. Okay, so we're going to use, it's facing that way, we're going to use op amp number 1 for our threshold. So this is going to go to the non-inverting input, which is that pin there. Okay, making sense. And then we'll just use these wires to connect it up. So the inverting input, so that's that one there. We're not going to worry about control either today. That is going to go to this point here on my voltage divider. Alright, and that output has got to go to either one of these 2 wires. So I'm not too sure which. So I'm going to just swap them around when the time comes to test it out, and then we'll get it to work. That's the theory. And so the other part, alright, what color wire do I need for that? So, wait, I was looking at the wrong one, wasn't I? Okay, let's get this right. So, blue is the trigger. Yeah, I really should have gone through and colored them in here. Trigger is actually going to the inverting input of this. So we're going to swap that around. Right, so this is my trigger one. Right, and now the threshold is going to the non-inverting input of that one. So this is my threshold coming on over here, and I've got it going blue and green. So threshold, I don't think it should be green. Okay. This is going to take forever. Threshold on this one is actually an orange wire. So we're going to take my orange wire and we're going to put that into the non-inverting input, which is right there. These wires are really the worst. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do indeed? And that one can go somewhere over there. Alright, well we've got 2 out of the 8 inputs correct, and then the other part of my RS flip-flop is going to go to the output, and we are going to put a random wire, not a random wire, we still have to do. We've got this wire going to this one, the black one now goes to the wrong one because I misread that one. So the trigger is going to be linked to that one, to that part of the voltage divider. So it should actually, like this voltage divider goes in the same way as it does in the picture. I think orientated to you, the viewer. So this green one is for the threshold. And that's like the 2/3 voltage, so that's gone into that. So now we've got this connected up, this connected up, this, sorry you can't actually see that, we've got this part connected up, this part connected up. We haven't got the control, we don't worry about that. And that part, so I hope we don't have to worry about that. Control is on, control volt, no that's the control voltage, that doesn't matter, we're not doing that one, that's complicated advanced 555 stuff. And we've got going into here, now I don't actually know if I put this going into the set thing or this going into the reset, and I don't know if that's going into set or reset, and so basically we're just going to swap those around if it doesn't work. Hopefully then it will work. So now we have this, and now we have the outputs going into here, and this is where it gets kind of confusing because I've forgotten exactly what happened on my 4001 video. I wasn't really paying attention, so I'm just going to quickly go back to the 4001 and look up the flip-floppy diagram because I can't remember what the output is. But the good thing is, doesn't it have, if I've got this right, I might not need the inverter for that stage. Oh, where is it? 4001. Alright, because you get the inverter for free with the flip-flop. So we did I actually use the pins on here? Alright, well what have I done here? I've got those two linked up. So where they cross over. So output A. Why is that going to there? That's the output of the flip-flop, not the input of the flip-flop. Wait, hold on, let's get this exactly right. Oh no, that one's going to the input. And no, that one's going, that's all correct. Okay, we've got this right. So those two are linked, which means these two must be the actual outputs here. And they are linked to here. Now I don't know which is going to be the, well, it doesn't actually matter, right? Because if you get the reset and the set around the wrong way, then you're just going to get your outputs around the wrong way. So if you don't know what I mean, there's the little picture. So reset, set, reset, right? And if they were flipped around, then this is symmetrical. So that's the outputs are going to be flipped around. So I just have to pick one of these outputs and say that it's going to be the inverted output, and then use it, and then don't worry about anything else, which is precisely what I'm going to do. So that's linked up. So what's the output for that? Alright, so the output is actually where that LED is. So we're going to take the one that's not hooked up to an LED, which is this one. Yes. So hopefully this is now my inverted output. So I've now got this, and it feels like, well, do I really have to put it through an inverter? Probably. Because I could just take the other output, like, because I've got from this, I've got two outputs. Well, we'll do that. So the output will be that little LED right there. So that blue one that I had from before will be hopefully flashing the way. So this is the only thing left to do, and this has to go to our transistor. And this is where things get a little bit dicey because, well, I have, alright, no, we're all good, I did actually prepare that part. So I have, I can't read what it says on the side. Collector base emitter, well, which is which? We've got several boxes of these things. So we're just going to use 2N2222, and I am going to hopefully find, no I'm not, sorry, just give me a second. Well, how much time have we got left? 7 minutes. Oh my goodness. Right, well, turns out I've got two boxes of these. Oh no. Okay, I think I've got it. So I was just going to find my little multimeter, because I always keep one of these little ICs in there, and it tells me which way around they're supposed to go. So I think I can read this, so we can do this. I don't think we're actually going to get this to work, because I still have to wire it up the same way that I did on the other one. So I'm just going to put it randomly right here. There's a little bit of space here. This is a bit of a mess. Alright, so collector base emitter. So the output of this, which is this white wire we've been talking about, is going to go, we need something in the way. Where's my 10K gone? Where'd you go, 10K? Oh, I had a box of 10Ks. And that was something I definitely had sitting on this desk not long ago. And they're right here. Okay, so 10K might be a bit too much, but that's okay. I'm just going to put that. Oh, is the wire coming off? No, it's not coming off. Alright, that one can go to there. This is looking a little bit messy. Alright, so that's my current limiting resistor going into the base on my transistor. So that's the output going into there. So the emitter is going straight to ground, and I'm pretty sure that, what is this wire being used for? This wire is not being used for anything, it's just getting in the way. We need some kind of little connector thing. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Oh, a real, here we go, look at this one. This one's going to do the trick. So this should be the emitter, and it's going to ground. Alright, so now all we have to do is say discharge, which is pin number 7, and discharge is colored red. Alright, so I need a red wire from there, and that's my discharge, and that's number 7. And I've got to decide which way around am I looking at this thing. I'm going to look at it that way. So 7 is going to be right next to this one. That we can go there, that can go there. This one goes opposite the red wire. So the blue one goes there. I didn't connect up something else. Oh no, I have. Alright, and then we're going to need a power input. So what did I use on this? So the 0 volts one is green. Something just fell on the floor, so that one's quick. We have 4 minutes left. That one's going there. And what are we up to next? We don't worry about reset. The output is actually from here. So I need a wire to get the output all the way across. It's going to be there. And then it's going to go down to, I should make it the same color, shouldn't I? What color was the output on this thing? It was grey. Well, we had a grey wire. Where'd you go, little grey wire? I just had you. Gone. Gone forever, never to be seen again. Alright, so this is another grey wire. We're just going to steal. Which is kind of silly because I'm going to use... But we'll get it the same. So that's the output. Not worrying about reset. So I'm still reading off here. VCC on this one here, I have got a brown wire, which I just had a spare brown wire, and just as I needed it, it fell on the floor. That is the same brown, right? I think it's the same brown. That one goes there. I think I've got them slightly lined up wrong. And that can just go straight to there. So I've got voltage, VCC, discharge, threshold. Don't worry about control volts. Don't worry about reset. Output, trigger, and 0 volts, and they match up. They don't match up at all. I've got a red wire. Why did I think this was grey? Oh, I've got confused because I'm looking at the... No, I am very confused. It's not grey, it's maroon. So, purple, purpley maroon. This one doesn't have the same purple on it. Well, this is making me annoyed. Alright, it's right here. Okay, here we go. So, output is the purple wire. Well, purplish, close enough. Purple, maroon, whichever one you have in your stock. Okay, so that should be my solution. So, what the idea was is that it's not going to work, is it? We'll have to move them as... Well, I can't move them any further down. So, I'm going to take this off, and then I'm going to take... Alright, what I need to take this lot of wires off and attach them into here so that they match up by colour. So from the previous shot you saw that this in fact had a little red flashing light. And the idea is that if I plug them in exactly the same way, I will indeed get the same behaviour for that little red LED on this board. So there we go. I think that is actually how I wanted everything done. But of course there's no way it's going to work when I just turn it on straight away. So we'll just turn it on. Maybe it will start flashing and maybe it will not. And if it doesn't, which it won't, we'll have to come back and talk about it another day. So let's try and see what happens. Well, it comes on. So what we were going to do then is we were going to swap around these two things. So the orange goes where the blue is and the blue goes where the orange is. And then we'll see if that actually helps it. And it doesn't. Well, that's a bit disappointing. I guess, what do you expect? Well, we've only got 50 something seconds on it, and I know from experience that when I try and fix these things while filming it, it takes a lot longer than doing it. We're not filming it. So we will come back. Well, what we'll do is we'll just do a follow-up video where I'll actually see if I can work out why it doesn't flash, what I have to do to finish it off. I'm just a bit worried that I've got these wires wrong. And that one's right, that one's right. Alright, well, 28 seconds left. And something has gone wrong. But that's okay. It must be one of these two things here. Alright, well, I'll just have to go through the wires and think it out. But thanks for watching, and we are going to get through this. And we are going to do some really cool things very, very soon. Like, literally, the coolest thing I've done on this channel will be coming up at some point soon. But thanks for watching. Bye. I'm not even going to turn the camera off because it's going to stop now.